show. Let's get into some surfing. See what's going on the elections.
Enormously, not a little bit, enormously. That's right. No politician would get to exterminate the Negro population. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, Hillary Clinton did say, I admire Margaret Sanger. Enormously, not a little bit, enormously. That's right. No politician would get my vote nor my support if they would have said, I admire Margaret Sanger, the woman who said, our goal is the extermination of the Negro race. What kind of Negro would vote for a woman who would say such a thing? Got to be a dumb Negro to do that. Something wrong with you, Negro. Exterminate the Negro population. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, Hillary Clinton did say, I admire Margaret Sanger. Enormously, not a little bit, enormously. That's right. No politician would get my vote nor my support if they would have said, I admire Margaret Sanger, the woman who said, our goal is the extermination of the Negro race. What kind of Negro would vote for a woman who would say such a thing? Got to be a dumb Negro to do that. Something wrong with you, Negro. The role to exterminate the Negro population. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, Hillary Clinton did say, I admire Margaret Sanger. Enormously, not a little bit, enormously. That's right. No politician would get my vote nor my support if they would have said, I admire Margaret Sanger, the woman who said, our goal is the extermination of the Negro race. What kind of Negro would vote for a woman who would say such a thing? Got to be a dumb Negro to do that. Something wrong with you, Negro. The role of the black minister is supposed to be the role of any preacher, to exterminate the Negro population. Margaret Sanger, founder of Planned Parenthood, Hillary Clinton did say, I admire Margaret Sanger. Enormously, not a little bit, enormously. That's right. No politician would get my vote nor my support if they would have said, I admire Margaret Sanger, the woman who said, our goal is the extermination of the Negro race. What kind of Negro would vote for a woman who would say such a thing? Got to be a dumb Negro to do that. Something wrong with you, Negro.
Wants to replace every civil servant, every single one, thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him. I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up. Politically lock him up. It's not a joke. This is a guy who also wants to replace every civil servant.
The role of
Where is that? Is that on Bob Cushman? Oh, that's what I was looking at. That I want here. Cause I know what I know what it was. Let me see. I wonder if it's on Trump pay. me see. Johnson Benson is on. They tearing her up. Say without evidence, Benson claims foreign bad actors working to hack voters' mind. Man, I see Johnson Benson something else. What man? What Bernie talking about?
Per capita on healthcare as the people of any other country, while 87 million are uninsured or underinsured. I think it's a broken system. I think we have to expand Medicare to cover every man, woman, and child. I happen to believe that, unlike Donald Trump, who thinks that climate change is a hoax, I happen to believe that it is very, very real. And unless we lead the world away from fossil fuel to sustainable energy, I worry very, very much about the kind of planet that our kids and grandchildren will inherit. Those are my views. That's what I campaign on in Vermont and what I've campaigned on nationally.
Off to the general public, which they say they've already, that's what the kill switch is. It's not to the government and the corporate media. It'll be just everybody else, which they're now admitting. Everybody goes to universities. Everybody goes to schools. Everybody goes to churches. You speak up. And the majority, and I want to get into the book and have you back tomorrow if you want, because I want to do a whole hour on the book, but we will hit the book some too, because it shows how they.
I mess with Alex Jones, but in my personal time. Okay, Trump, 91.8 million followers. I see you getting up there. While Kamala said that people who believe in Jesus don't belong to her rallies or don't belong to her rallies, and our movement, we love Christians. We become believers. I mean, sorry, I can't read, y'all. We welcome believers and we embrace followers of Jesus.
Followers of Jesus.
In Christ is King. Jesus is Lord.
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
But while Kamala says that people who believe in Jesus don't belong to her rallies, in our movement, we love Christians, we welcome believers, and we embrace followers of Jesus.
Okay. See what else we got.
Kamala lied.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
They released murderers.
An undocumented immigrant.
The Biden-Harris administration just admitted they released thousands of illegal immigrants convicted of violent crimes. Kamala lied.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
They released murderers.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
Human traffickers.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal.
Rapists. All released under Kamala. President Trump warned us he'll deport these thugs, secure the border, and make our streets safe again.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Okay.
The Biden-Harris administration just admitted they released
Let me see where they prayed for Trump at.
Time, but we all love America just like you, and that's why we're here.
Really nice. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. President, are you going to stop the?
Let me see what
thousands of illegal immigrants.
talking about. I synced all that. Let's see what Elon talking about. Elon say $1 million a day, y'all. $1 million day. Dealing with the richest people, some of the wealthiest people on earth. Say on Elon Musk in Pennsylvania giving young men meaning, while some critics want to simply chalk up Musk's antics to toxic masculinity. He stands as a hero to many young men, saying the stuff they're thinking, chasing their dreams. They wish they had the courage. Come on, man. Talk that stuff then. What do you say? Coming to their town to fight the fight. Yes, Musk has unfathomable wealth. More than that. Hey, more than that, though. What do you say? He said he has unfathomable wealth. Man, it say Musk has something more precious. Purpose. Getting to Mars and techno optimism. All right, at least all right, at least something. I mean, listen. Musk doing his thing, man. I've been following. Stop the phone. He's a funny guy. He said $1 million a day though. Let's see. They go back that far. Oh, he paying that up top. Let's see what they got here.
On commercial flights directly into U.S. cities. The Biden-Harris administration is illegally importing 30,000 aliens every month on commercial flights directly into U.S. cities. After the Biden-Harris administration repealed every effective Trump-era immigration policy, illegal immigration in the United States skyrocketed to historic numbers. Now, instead of sending illegal aliens back to their countries of origin, border czar Harris's DHS came up with an unlawful scheme to redirect migrants into the United States by boarding them onto commercial flights and flying them directly into the interior of the U.S. via the CHNV program. If you're an illegal alien, you don't even have to try to walk across the border anymore. You can just board a plane and be flown into the United States.
Wow.
The CHNV program allows these aliens to fly to the destination of their choice and stay in the United States forever. And DHS admitted that they have no comprehensive method to track these aliens or their whereabouts. The Biden-Harris administration claimed that this program would decrease the number of illegal aliens entering the country, but they lied. At least 520,000 aliens have already entered the U.S. through this program. In 10 years, the program will allow 3.6 million people to travel to the United States visa-free and live here as long as they want. But there is hope. America First Legal and a coalition of states are fighting to shut it down in court. AFL will fight to shut down this illegal program and restore integrity to our immigration system.
Shouts out to AFL. AFL said, "No, man, we pushing back."
The Biden-Harris administration is illegally importing.
Wow. God. $750 though? Come on, man. What's this right here? Exclusive. It say, evil thrives in darkness. We will continue to expose those seeking to silence our users. Now is the time to protect freedom of speech and save democracy. Exclusive documents working with Tabibi. Tabi. We report on at CCD hate documents showing the Labor Party's political front's objective is kill Musk Twitter through advertising focus, meaning harass his advertisers. Wow. British advisors to Kamala Harris hope to kill Musk Twitter. Wow. England out there tripping. Shouts out to the people of England, though. Where y'all at, man? The people, where y'all at, man? Y'all people, y'all prime minister and them tripping. 2 weeks ago, the early vote in Pennsylvania for 2024 was worse for Republicans than 2020. It's now dramatically better. Okay. Let's see. What else we got, Musk? CCDH is a criminal organization. Breaking leaked documents from the Center of Countering Digital Hate reveal. Okay, still talking about Musk. Man, somebody been leaking documents everywhere, haven't they? Let me see, man. Where the other information at on the leaked document situation?
Joe, I've sat there in meetings and I know I have. I sat in meetings.
Mark, we let you go on for a half hour. You're not, maybe you will change someone's mind. I don't know. I've heard it all
Joe,
before.
I've sat there in
It's
meetings
fine.
and I know I have. I sat in a meeting in Phoenix
And I said,
Okay.
I don't want to talk. I tell the campaign, I don't want to talk to people who already are voting for Kamala. I want to talk to people who are thinking they're voting for Trump or undecided.
Well,
Those
maybe you're
are
changing some minds today. I don't know. You look at Twitter. I mean,
But the question
I'll be
is whether
respectful and kind to you, but people think
Don't be,
you're
Joe.
kind of
I don't
out of
need you to be respectful and kind to me.
Okay.
Be rude.
All right.
I don't care. I'll take any question you throw at me. I don't care if people are yelling at me, screaming at me, calling me names. You know, Elon
must
calls me
like
a
it.
racist, a turd.
I think you must like it.
It's not that I like it. I know what's at stake.
Well, you must eat it up. If Trump's got a nose that's as long as a road, your skin, from what I see people say to you on Twitter, must be as thick as, from Boston to LA, Mark. And that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
but you obviously enjoy what you're doing, and God bless you. You got $1 billion. You're still going to have a G650 after this election. So what the hell?
Yeah, it's what's best for the country. That's what I care about. And look, let me just add, if Trump wins, last time when he won, he asked me to help on healthcare, on PPE. I sat with Peter Navarro and helped him come up with a mask company and help them grow. And that was all domestic production. I'll do the same thing. I'm America first. First, that's the wrong way to put it. I am what's best for this country over party, country over all. I just think Kamala Harris, without any question in my mind, is the better candidate and the better president for this country.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. What am I doing?
Yo. Come on. Hey, Rook. You better not be late.
Yo, are you serious? Come on, man.
Hey, clean up my driveway. It's a mess.
Yo, you're too old for this. What's going on, bro? Come on. You way too old for this, man. Yo, Bryce, where your keys at?
LeBron, you ain't supposed to be eating them.
All right, bet. I got you.
Yo. Come on. Hey, Rook. You better not be late.
Yo, are you serious? Come on, man.
Hey, clean up my driveway. It's a mess.
Yo, you're too old for this. What's going on, bro? Come on.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Election interference, the Biden-Harris regime. I told y'all, is recklessly pumping debt into the economy, hoping to create an illusion of prosperity while saddling future generations with a crippling burden. It's just 3 weeks total U.S. debt skyrocketed by $473 billion, reaching a record. $35.8 trillion, equivalent to 1,450 per American, added in mere weeks. Each citizen now bears $103,700 in national debt. Meanwhile, interest payments surpassed $1 trillion in 2024, costing every American $3,360 in interest alone. This fiscal irresponsibility is an unsustainable gimmick to hide the true state of the economy. We've been screaming this from day one, dog. $1 trillion in interest, homie. A lot of people may not be really hitting that because, depending on which community you out of, because they might not, I'm not trying to dumb down, the American people, but, you know what I'm saying? We all know the numbers. So, hey, it probably ain't hit them. You know what I'm saying? Like, dog, you owe $1 trillion in interest, bro. You owe $1 trillion in interest. And so, you owe $1 trillion in interest a year, man. That's tough, bro. Like, that's tough, man. $1 trillion in interest in 2024, costing every American $3,360 in interest alone. The fiscal irresponsibility is an unsustainable gimmick. Duh. That's like duh. Like the whole point is to bankrupt, to weaken the country. That's the whole point. It's not even like we say the country, it's like a corporation. But like the people, the communities, the individuals, the families. You know, that's the point. That's the point, is to put that level of pressure to break the individual down. Ain't just, we say the country, talking about the people, overwork them, underpay them, tax them with the rest, give them entertainment, give them fake religions, give them fake foods, fake water, fake air. You know what I'm saying? And then hit repeat. You understand me? And while these foreigners, stakeholders in the U.S. And its decline continue to get, very, very wealthy and very strong. And you're looking at this axis of power. It's shifting. It's a shift. You can feel it. It's real. It's not fake. Biden Harris regime, that's perfect. Election interference. Election interference. The Biden Harris regime is recklessly pumping in debt into the economy, hoping to create an illusion of prosperity while saddling future generations with a crippling burden. In just 3 weeks, the total U.S. debt skyrocketed by $473 billion, reaching a record $35.8 trillion, equivalent to $1,450 per American added in mere weeks. Each citizen now bears $103,700. Come on, man, in national debt. Each citizen now bears. Meanwhile, while interest payments surpassed $1 trillion in 2024, okay, you keep this up, ladies and gents. Keep it up. All this vote for, man, let's be clear. It ain't about if you pink or green. You understand me? That was an illusion. Even in that time, that was an illusion. When they were talking about black, Negro, colored people, and look it up. Look up Free White Person in the Naturalization Act in the 1790s. Look up these atrocities that went down politically, militarily in 1774 with the branding of with the enslavement of a free people, branding them Negroes, black, and colored. Like, stop it. Stop it. Like, the whole premise is fake. So this whole identity politics, black is not a noun. So how we using that for an identity if we gonna play identity politics? Oh, she's black. Let's stop. Black mean pale. So again, it's not about that this illusion. That's false proxies, false narratives. That's a trick. That's deception. That's deceitful. You understand me? That's that. Nah, man. And the funny part is, it's so obvious, it's ridiculous, and it's just unclear. How many agents actually exist from the DNC. I mean, to be honest with you, they have a lot of agents active and operatives actively working to subvert the will of the American people through this a strategy of putting us in such a debt servitude. You understand me? You be swallowed up in debt and taxes and stress and heart failure. That's the result. Look at it. Look at the food they pumping in. They tearing us up, and they tearing us up in every which way, form, and fashion, and they being exposed because it's just like Sojourner Truth was saying about how many more she could have freed if they actually knew they was in slavery. So a lot of times these people aren't even aware that they're consuming toxin products and bleaches and things that's going to do damage to them. They're not even aware that the fluorides are poison. They wasn't even aware that the watermelon didn't have no seeds in it, man. It wasn't even aware the causes, impacts, and effects of, these are they heroes, people they looking up to, have a placing their trust into these people. And now you look up, everybody's sick physically, sick financially, sick educationally, you're just sick religiously, sick spiritually, and you can see it in the division, you can see it in the confusion. You can see it in the economy. You can feel it. It's like, what do you mean? And these things can be fact checked. Like, that's not a secret on the current debt status of the USA. You know, here's the numbers. But when you look at where we stand on a global level, when we look at where we stand on the global level as far as education, the media has the easiest job of manipulation and propaganda peddling I've ever seen, because the people was ripe for it. They've been brought up and breeded to be able to consume that level of garbage. You know what I'm saying? And then almost take it on its face value. I'll call you right back, Prince. And so I mean, it's a serious issue, whether it's Meta and them in their situation with the client. They facing the lawsuit. The judge forced them. I just did a podcast on it. With the judge forcing them to deal with this issue of putting out features, addictive features, aimed at our children. And they've been understanding this. They had that information prior to them doing it, and they still was doing it for profits. So whether it's big tech taking advantage, or big tech interfering with the election, or big tech censorship of America's and precious info, or what is all these moving parts for? It's to cover up the true story, which is putting you in debt servitude, putting you in all these different. And so who's behind it all? The bankers. Because no matter what, it takes finance, self-information. All this stuff has to be financed. Wars, pistols, food, agriculture, manufacturing, whatever you can think of. If it moves, it got to be financed. And therefore, you got to turn to the bankers, the financiers. And so that's who behind all of this. That's who is capturing, or who have captured the United States and changed it from a constitutional form to this so-called U.S. democracy, which is demons rule, the rule of a few, meaning the overthrow of your sovereignty, your individual sovereignty, your rights protected under the first through the original amendments, the freedom of speech, the right to bear arms, due process, the Fourth Amendment, Sixth Amendment, Seventh, Eighth Amendment, protects you from cruel and unusual punishment, for exercising, again, it's that's probably something that's difficult to explain, because when you ain't been taught that coming up in your public institutions, and all you've been taught is, racism, slavery, all of this trauma. You've been for sure familiarized with your trauma. That's for sure. The trauma and the drama. But when it comes time to talk about your prominence and your dominance of your ancestors prior to all of this stuff of colonialization, etc., when it came time to talk about that, that wasn't mentioned. When you start talking about, that was seamlessly to be removed, and that's why you got to talk about this propaganda. This propaganda been in place. It's not the first time that they have used propaganda when it comes to Trump. They've been using propaganda the whole time to maintain political sustainability, political, military, and economic sustainability. Understand me? Because it ain't no because. That's what it is. They position. This is a military position to be able to dominate the world. This is the headquarters. You're in the north end of the body, the brains of the planet. You understand me? So, you got to look for the underplay and for the overplay. So it's right here. This is the issue. This is the main issue. We're talking about being taxed to death. They're talking about price gouging. This is price gouging. You want me to pay? You want the USA and or the people of the USA to be the surety bond on the interest. That's what is going on. That's what they mean by selling you out. That's human trafficking. That's like you using me. And here it is. We're not underwriting that, man. We got to wake up. We got to get them out of play. And that's why Trump was so important. It was critical because one, you know, even without Trump, let's say, you know, right now. But we all know in the MAGA community that we was gonna have to go through something that you can't put into words for the American people to see the manipulation and the psychosis and hypnosis that they've been put under. And how much these people then sold the country out to our enemies and to our allies. The USA has been for sale. You know, this issue has been on the floor. But you know, again, you know, this is what the big issue is about, this 1 trillion in interest. We've surpassed $1 trillion in interest. That's why we going around here starting, you know, I want to say starting, but we financing dang near both sides of the conflict. On one hand, we sending humanitarian aid and security and et cetera, and resources to one hand, and on the other hand, we supplying them with military security and resources. Like, so we financing both sides of this thing. And on the back hand, we being financed. And so who's gonna pay for all this stuff? Well, they're gonna tax us. They're gonna try to tax us, our grandchildren, their children, and their children, and their children. That's another perpetual debt cycle. We stuck or enslaved to this cycle of debt crisis. You know what I'm saying? That's a war on your pocketbooks. That's a war on American families. That's a silent war on us. And you look at what Trump behavior was. That's why people keep saying they want Trump, because the money was flowing in instead of flowing out. All our money is going out. And everybody talking about, wait a minute, bro, what's going on? Nah, when you go to the hood, when you go to business people, entrepreneurs, and other communities alike, they say Trump, when you come to the hood, they say Trump gonna make sure the money flow in. And everybody's like, wow, what do you, man, people can count, because they actually had to count in order to know how much money they got, to know what dollars is going where and why. It's called budgeting. So these people are very much familiarized with common sense practices. It's good for business. Money should be flowing in. That's an asset to me. Anything that's paying me. Now I got to pay it, which is $1 trillion plus in interest. Oh, that's a liability. And we know the difference between assets and liability. We know what assets are. They generate income, revenue, cash flow. And I'm able to live and leverage off that cash flow. Now, opposite of that is, wait a minute, we need to fire you people. How did you even get in position? Who voted for this? And so you should be talking to your neighbor, man. We should be talking to our neighbors, our friends, loved ones, etc. For those who allegedly voted for these people, because this is what you voted for: trillions of dollars of debt in interest. You understand me? Forced assimilation, an attack on our culture, customs, religions, spiritual systems, etc. Attack on our children. You understand me? You're talking about a bio-police state. You know, you got, force this and force. Nah, man, we good on that. We good on that. And that ain't gonna play on people's traumas with identity politics and gender politics and sexism politics. I don't even know what that stuff is. Racism politics. No. What about this $1 trillion in interest payments? This $104,000 per citizen in the national debt, dog. Somebody explain that to me for 1 minute. Y'all talking about vote for who exactly and why, when I gotta pay $1 trillion, $103,000 and for each citizen. Each citizen now bears I round up $104,000 in national debt. You understand me? That's $3,360 in interest per citizen, man. I'm just confused. I'm confused on where we going. Where we headed? Where we headed, man? I don't know, man. Y'all, I mean, and then we got this open border policies, and we paying trillions of dollars into taking care of somebody else's children and somebody else's family. And we can't even take care of our own family members. We ain't took care of the business here. The schools is worse in the world, all this stuff is falling. All this stuff been falling apart. You understand me? And it's coming to an end, and it came to an end. You know now. The people are full abreasted. It should be full disclosure of this sensitive intelligence. This is sensitive material here. Because what are you going to do with it? Do you dare to stay the same and be in this and let these people continue to trick you that it's okay and this, that, and the other? Let them people continue to do that to you if you want to, man. And I just tell you, let them explain this $1 trillion in interest payment. Let them explain these numbers because they love this right here because they're not business. They're not entrepreneurs. They've been working somebody else's money the whole time. They've been working taxpayers' dollars the whole time, wasting them. That's how we got in this. Think about it. This ain't new. We got here. How did we get here? Somebody got to explain this to the American people of the Constitutional Republic of the United States of North America. Somebody got to explain this to us, man. How did we get here? Why do we keep seeing Zelensky come to the White House leaving out with a bag? We up here paying for the war at the pump and at the grocery store, dog. That's price gouging, Kamala Harris. That's price gouging. Your administration, your regime is currently price gouging with the policies. Your policies are price gouging. And it's an intrusion against the Constitution and the rights of the people. And y'all know this. Biden got up there and did a special. I say calling these people incompetent is so meritless. They're not incompetent. They are cooperating. They're participating parties in the decline and the destruction and the dissolvement and bankruptcy of the United States, as we know, and put everybody in a perpetual debt system. And we run around here talking about she's black, which means pale. And I just don't understand that. I don't understand that. I don't apprehend that. That's not good. That's just not good for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Why would I want to? Why? Listen, man, I don't get it, but you know that's my take on it. Let's talk about this money. Let's talk about this $1 trillion. We want to talk about everything else, you know, this, that, and the other. Let's focus. Let's keep focus. Let's keep focus on these numbers, man. This is what's important. You know, who is behind the wheel driving the car? And they driving us off a cliff into a pit fire of $1 trillion+ in interest payment, which bears on each citizen 103.7. You understand me? Thousand. That's 103, man. That's 104,000. Let me pull this up for you, dog. What we gonna do? Bidenomics. Bidenomics, baby. Man, Bidenomics. Let's see what else we got here.
We cannot despair. We cannot despair. You know, the nature of a democracy is such that I think there's a duality. On the one hand, there's an incredible strength when our democracy is intact, an incredible strength in what it does to protect the freedoms and rights of its people. Oh, there's great strength in that. And it is very fragile. It is only as strong as our willingness to fight for it. And so that's the moment we're in. And I say, do not despair.
She just made my head hurt, dog. What is this? Breaking. Federal government whistleblower exposes $347 million contract for transporting unaccompanied minors. Wow. But you know you cannot unknow. What? Whoa. Wow.
Moment was when my line in the sand moment was when I found out that GSA had awarded a contract to a company to transport unaccompanied minors.
What was that like for you?
It was like someone kicked me in my gut. Once I found out about the contract, after that night, I got on my computer and I started doing a Google search.
Action obligation 40 million, total contract value 347 million. That's over $250 million. That's a lot of money to transport unaccompanied children. I mean, this is a big money business.
And that's why we're sitting here today, because as I shared before, what you know, you cannot unknow.
The crisis of conscience would only grow and reach inside the holy grail of the unaccompanied child transportation business. There's the white buses right there. That's the FedEx transportation hub for the unaccompanied minor children. They stop the transportation of children, they stop the money.
My name is Clarissa Rippey.
And where do you work?
I work for General Services Administration, aka GSA.
And for those who are not familiar with what GSA is or what it does, can you talk a little about that?
GSA, it basically manages all the services for the federal government. Then you have the transportation side of GSA that manages travel, transportation, and logistics, that's the area that I'm working in right now.
And what sort of thing do you do in that department?
I'm what's called an 1102. I'm a contract specialist, and my responsibility is to work with contractors that provide products and services to the federal government. And I work on a team of contracting officers, and we award those contracts.
NGO stands for non-governmental organization. But in addressing political and social issues, they receive money from the government. These groups get large amounts of money. The more immigrants they represent, the more money they receive.
Follow it? Well, the film Line in the Sand, we saw so many of these companies. People were amazed and shocked to see just how many busing companies and making so much money off of the crisis. Were you aware of some of those names of those companies in the film? Or?
Not originally. Then I came over to TTL and became aware that that GSA had awarded a contract for the transportation services.
What was your line in the sand moment here in this situation?
My line in the sand moment was when I found out that GSA had awarded a contract to a company to transport unaccompanied minors.
So you found this out, and then you had this line in the sand moment. What was that like for you?
It was like someone kicked me in my gut, because I had just gotten a promotion, accepted the position for that particular division, and I was not aware at all that the agency that I worked for was party to transporting unaccompanied minors. Once I found out about the contract that night, I got on my computer and I started doing a Google search, and I did keyword searches. I did transport unaccompanied minors. I put in transport of immigrant children, and all of these websites popped up, and it led back to some of these NGOs and these companies, like Acuity, which was the original awardee of the contract. And then MVM protested that award, and the contract wound up back with MVM.
Within the last 9 months, MVM has received over $129 million from the Department of Homeland Security, $719 million from DHS overall.
But as I continued to read the documents that I found online, I found out these are the illegal immigrants, minors who are coming over without their parents, without anyone that they knew, being shipped at every hour of the day, especially like late at night when we're all asleep in our beds and our children are safe at home. These children were being shipped all over the place.
Shipped over, and that must have made you feel guilty.
Yeah,
for having this promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And that was your line in the sand moment. And we also have some documents here that we've been provided by you. Just tell me what this one here indicates.
This is a GSA contract that was awarded to MVM.
And so it says here in this document that action obligation 40 million, base and all option, total contract value 347 million. That's over $250 million. That's a lot of money to transport unaccompanied children. I mean, this is a big money business. It just seems like lost in all of this is any semblance of right and wrong. It's just a lot of people who watched Line in the Sand. The takeaway is it's all about money, and there's no regard for children or human beings.
It's so
been very
obvious,
Very
though.
effective.
Like
They
it's literally so. Hold on, pause. It is so obvious. Like, why else? Think about it. If you got an open border policy, hashtag border crisis, and you talk about Trump saying, well, he hate humans, he hate the human traffickers and all this stuff. So he built walls, cut off the tunnels. He squozed the industry of human trafficking. And you see Epstein go down. And you see the Diddy, you see the Harvey Weinsteins, and I read an article today about some other guys that just got some other big guys that just got hit with sex trafficking and sex working operations type of stuff. A whole outfit. Some big fellas too. I'm sorry for not recalling their names, but I just read another article today about it, and you look at that Trump Pence administration before Pence sold out. But Pence was a part of that administration, but he sold out. He sold out. He sold out. He was called upon. Again, Trump went after the human trafficking industry. Like, he went after the industry. People don't understand that. Like, he went after the industry. The industry took a hit. And he redirected that and brought more security. Because remember, they was talking about doing something to Cuz. I remember they was talking about doing something to Cuz prior to him running for office. And he took it straight to him and killed that industry. And it took a shot at not just the border. When he put down the policy on the border, it took a shot at the human trafficking and all the other industries associated. Prices had skyrocketed to get that stuff in the United States. Trump put a tax on it like never before to slow that crap down, and he went after the opioids, the fentanyl, and all that stuff. Made it like a national or an executive order. You know what I'm saying? Like, he taxed that industry so hard, and then he went after China on the tariffs. He started going after everybody. He used the might and the authority of the office of president to restore balance to the global stage and to the United States, to America first. And you're not finna invade the country. You're not finna, because what that did to our workforce, what it did to our economy was weaken our economy. You was closing down steel factories, car factories. You closing down prominent families, mom and pop businesses, everybody taking a hit, and you destroying our way of life. And it was done to you in a slow, methodically, you know what I'm saying? It was done to you in very crafty. So you wouldn't initially detect it. Your sensors wouldn't go off. You know what I'm saying? So they kept feeding you the sedation, though, to keep you in that state of sedation, whether it's the fake weed, the fake food, the fake news, the fake entertainment, the fake music. Go back to they cloned Tyrone. You are being manipulated. And so when you are in this deep, like she said, when we sleep at home thinking we safe with our babies, they flying them in. They transporting in illegals and minors, unaccompanied minors, Wait a minute, man. They just was talking about they missing 300 and some children. These people getting over $250 million in transportation. Hey, man, that open border policy making some good money. That crisis, that so-called crisis, is making trillions of dollars. Wow, we're funding a crisis, but in such a way that is weakening us from the social services, from oh my God, from every form. You just seen the numbers. Billions of dollars has been poured into the coffers of these trafficker posing as LLCs, man, and being able to get on with this current regime occupying the White House, the Hill, and they're getting away with it. That's what's crazy. They're getting away with it here in Michigan. They're getting away with it at the White. We got a problem because now they comfortable. They looking at us like, man, why would we even? We just listened to a report and looked at some reports on Michigan and Benson, and we've been following that the election activity, and most of the 98% of what they send is frivolous, and we got the receipts. It's just frivolous. It's a lie. But where can you go to? The courts is compromised. Where can you go to? The governor's compromised. The AG's compromised. Everywhere you go is compromised. So, we got a decision we got to make. And man, it should be the easiest decision of your life. Trump
have noted that they wanted the contractor to transport 1,000 children within a 24-hour period of notification. 1,000 children.
Why do they want that?
Exactly. That was my question. Why 1,000 every time within a 24-hour period?
Sounds like a quota or something to justify the contracts. It's almost like they treat these children like widgets or products. Like a
commodity.
Exactly, like potato chips on the back of a transport vehicle. You don't see, I don't see a lot of federal employees sitting down to speak about this. What led you to be here?
Now that I'm privy to this information, I can't forget about it. I can't just say I'm just going to wipe my brain clean. It never happened.
But most people do.
Yes.
So
yes.
Why is that?
And I'm guilty of that too. You hear someone will share information with you and you just like, no, I just want my quiet life. I don't want to be involved. I just don't want all the drama. I just want to live my peaceful life and just
go through the comforts of life.
Yeah, the comforts of life.
Eric Cochran, my former whistleblower friend, he said people just want to go through the comforts of
life.
And,
right.
And a lot of people are going to wonder, are you afraid of, first of all, you're doing nothing wrong. You're just speaking the truth. Nothing that you've said here is improper in any way or illegal in any way. If anything, you're just being honest about the way it is. But you know how these people can be and how these government agencies can be. Are you concerned about retaliation?
No. And I'll tell you why. Lord, what they are doing is your mission. This is what you have placed us here for, this very moment. This is what the Lord has placed in my heart to do. And people can try and do whatever they want to do to me, but they're not fighting me. They're fighting God. This is about the children.
We got an unaccompanied minor right here, guys. This is heartbreaking right here. ¿Vienes sola, verdad?
If
Ahí viene tu mami, tu papá?
Over 250,000 American-born children were missing, it would be spoken about in every Starbucks, coffee shop, in every restaurant, everywhere you walk, someone will be talking about, did you hear about 380,000+ children missing in the United States right now? People would be talking about, but because these are children from other countries, no names, no faces attached to them. People go to sleep, they lay their heads down every night, and they wake up oblivious to the fact that some mother, some father, some grandparent is missing their baby.
I don't think people know about it.
Right.
When you were at the premiere in Newport Beach of the film Line in the Sand, tell me about that experience for you. I have some breaking news for you here this evening. Working for GSA, she became aware of contracts for the transportation of unaccompanied children. I recognize this is very emotional. Come on up.
It was like a second kick in the gut, but it had faces this time. It wasn't a contract, words on a sheet of paper. It was actual faces.
¿Viniste sola? ¿Cuántos años tienes? 10 años. ¿De dónde vienes?
De Honduras.
¿De Honduras? ¿Cuánto tiempo llevas viajando, mi reina?
All that said, you know the saying that you don't know what you don't know, right? Well, see, now you do know, and you cannot unknow what you know now.
I know you're just trying to do your job. That's tough.
Yeah, it's not easy. So
Yeah.
especially when you have a little 3-year-old girl walk up to you.
3-year-old girls?
It's not easy.
So last week I had a 3-year-old come up, and all he had was a paper sewed into his shirt. Address and phone number were wrong. As a parent, I don't like seeing that. It makes me get closer to my kids.
My buddy said there was an unaccompanied child that you guys just picked up.
Yeah, we got a few, like 3 that we had earlier.
Traffic?
Yeah, they're gone already.
Traffic.
The last thing I want to say is there's another saying. It takes a village to raise a child. No, not true. It takes a village to protect a child. We have to protect our children. And the only reason why I'm here is because that's my duty now. I cannot unknow what I know now.
If you support,
wow, wow, highly impactful. Wow. I really don't know almost what to say in response. It's, it's something that we know, but here it is, somebody on the inside working this thing, a part of the machine, stepping out on faith, divine intervention, saying, hey, and that's what I'm telling you, man. Americans, we different. We just different. It's like, man, that ain't right, cuz like I'm willing to give it all up to get this information out to the American people so they can know. Americans have a right to know, and that's the law. And it's disguised. It's told you, man, these people, why are these swing states all expecting delayed election results? Yeah, we seen what she was talking about. Let me see if she's on there. Johnson Bisson been showing out. Let's see what we got.
Than 20 months of each other in the same place. We just had 1,000 year, North Carolina had 2 500-year storms within 20 months of each other in the same place. We just had 1,000-year storm event in southeastern North Carolina, 1,000-year. We know that that's not true anymore. We know that these events are going to become more and more intense. So we've spent a lot of time being smart about the way we approach rebuilding. We go into communities, we work with them, we have plans for local governments. You know, in some areas, you just shouldn't build back. And we've been able to convince certain communities and people that buyouts are better, and you create green space that soaks up flood water that comes and protects surrounding areas. When you do build back, you have to invest more in order for property to be more resilient. But when it is elevated, we even saw in some of the storms subsequent that those properties were unaffected because we had made them more resilient. So those are the challenges that we're facing every day. And it's one of the reasons why we've been able to get a number of Republican local officials, particularly on the coast, who said, okay, guys, climate change is here. We know that we have to do something about it. We know that the United States is the leader in the world, needs to set an example. North Carolina needs to set an example. And so we've gotten a number of them on board. There's still a lot of climate denialists out there.
I'm one of them for sure. I'm one of them for sure.
Sure, you know, North Carolina.
Let's see what we got here.
Is literally the richest man in the world, spending millions. Think about that. That guy is literally the richest man in the world, spending millions of dollars to help Donald Trump buy an election. Think about that. That guy is
got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like, you know, it's all a circus out there. I get that. I don't understand how we got so toxic and just so divided and so bitter. And I get why sometimes people just don't want to pay attention to it. And we all have friends like that. We have family members who just like.
Man, come on. Over $2 billion has been waged on the election on political betting platform, Polymarket. That's the media market claims. It's not an indication.
Big move for former President Trump. You're a markets guy. What do you think of Polymarket? What do you think of some of the other marketplaces where people are effectively taking bets on this election? And again, what looks like a big move for former President Trump.
Well, let me first say I'm an indirect investor in Polymarket through a fund that I'm in, a crypto fund that I'm in. And I know that you're not supposed to be an American and bet on Polymarket. And so it's not really an indication, I think, of anything. And I don't really know what hedges are out there. So it's possible to, you know, bet on one side and not bet on the other. And from all indications, most of the money coming into Polymarket is foreign money. I don't think it's an indication of anything.
You're a markets guy.
Interesting. Well, no, I wanted to see. I know what it was.
But sometime after the election, and everyone's going to be upset, and nothing they can do. You're going to have to wait 4 more years, and I'm not sure we can wait 4 more years because I don't know that we'll have a country in 4 more years. So you ought to start looking at that, to the fake news media. Show them what's happening to the black population and to the Hispanic population with these people that are coming into our country illegally.
Yeah, look at my man with the
You are
ice on.
witnessing the economic oppression of Americans to reward and enrich illegal aliens. It's just like, you know, they come into hotels and they stay in hotels and luxury hotels paid for by.
Look at my man right here, though. Now, this is a heck of a prop. Out of everybody in the crowd, cuz sitting there with the Make America Great Again ice on.
The government, and they walk past our veterans who are sleeping on the street right in front of that hotel.
Who is Cuz is legend.
Kamala Harris
Hold on.
has
Let's look at
imported
the
an arm.
background. Look at my man's with the worker hat on, with the utility hat. I love that. You got then another guy right here. He's a prop. Look at, okay, I love the Cowboy 2024. Look at the Moore with the mug shot shirt on, with the mug shot shirt. The Moore with the mug shot. I love the way they set this scene up, man. This is whoever is working the Trump campaign. We got to get them boys honored and girls. Whoever doing a great job. This is a heck of a prop. Then you got the little girl right here with the blue joint on. You got somebody right here like they drinking a beer. You got the Trump hat, like a Hispanic says. He's like a Hispanic brother right here. You got bro right here. He just straight off the hood with it. You know what I'm saying? He been at work all day too. You got Cuz back here, the truck driver. It might be a truck driver. It could be another utility guy. Where is he at? Where is he at? This is a funny scene though, man. My bad, yo. I had to.
Army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from prisons and jails, from insane asylums and mental institutions. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gang that Kamala has imported into our country. Let them just come in. Remember, she's a stupid person. Open borders. Open borders. As soon as I saw it, I said, well, wait a minute. I know the world. I know many of the leaders of the world, other than the ones that were changed, not that many. I know them. They're smart. They're streetwise, very streetwise people. I said, wait a minute, they're going to let all their prisoners out into our country. When you have open borders, there's no check-in, there's no vetting. And very importantly, Border Patrol, they're phenomenal. They endorsed me last week with the strongest endorsement that you've ever seen. Unanimous. And in the endorsement, they said she is so bad, there's never been anybody bad. That by itself should cause her. Thousands of people voted for me, unanimous endorsement of the Border Patrol, because we had the safest border. Bring down my favorite chart. I love this chart. I sleep with this chart. I kiss this chart every night. I love it. I love this chart. Isn't that a beautiful? Every night I roll it up and I kiss it. Because I wouldn't be here right now without that chart. I looked to my right, being. I said, what the hell happened? But look at that arrow on the bottom. That's when I left office. That's the day I left office right there. That's the lowest we've ever had. This was done by Border Patrol, by the way. And look what happened after I left. There was an explosion, like one of Elon's rocket ships. Look at that. How good is Elon, by the way? Is he good? You know, here's a guy. You talk about, he is so smart. We're inside, beautiful place, beautiful arena, packed, nice, probably 71 degrees. We finally have air conditioning. Some of these things don't have air conditioning. It's brutal. Congratulations to the people who own this place, whoever the hell owns it. We appreciate the air conditioning. But it's like 71 degrees. It's beautiful. Elon is right now in Pennsylvania politicking because he thinks this is the most important election in history. And he says we won't have a country. How cool is that?
That's right, Trump.
And he's registering voters. He's an amazing guy. How cool was the rocket ship that landed the other day, right? I never saw it. I told the show, I don't want to, if you heard it, just turn off your ears for a second. I'm talking to a very important guy, and I have the no sound on the television muted. And I'm looking at the television, talking to this guy, very important, but quite boring, to be honest with you. I hope he doesn't watch me say this, because he'll be able to figure out who it is. But anyway, I said, wait a minute, would you hold on, please, just for a second? Because I'm looking at the screen. I'm seeing this 20-story, huge tube pouring down and fire's pouring out of it. And it used to be white, but the heat is thousands of degrees coming down. They say thousands and thousands. So It's been beat up in that trip down. And I see this massive tube is coming down and the fire's burning and it's exploding all over the place. I said, oh my, this is terrible. It's going to crash. What the hell is it? I wasn't even sure. Maybe it was a movie. But I'm looking, it's the news. And I see it, and then all of a sudden, it's going to hit the gantry, and boom, a flame comes out of the left and pushes it over like it was nothing. I say, what the hell? And then, whoa, and then these two giant arms, boom, they envelop it like a beautiful, I won't say it. I get myself into too much trouble. When I say that stuff, it's so great. I'd like to, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to be politically correct if you don't mind. You know what Elon says? Like two giant chopsticks. See, wouldn't I be better off if I said that? Wouldn't that, Mr. Wall? This guy is the greatest guy. Stand up. I love this guy. Comes to so many of these. And he's a very successful guy, but he likes these rallies. He's had a lot of them. We have the ladies from North Carolina here, too. Would you stand up? I call them the beautiful ladies from North Carolina, and you're not allowed to call ladies beautiful anymore. It's the end of your political career. If you say, aren't they beautiful? That's the end of your political career, but who cares? You are beautiful. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. They've come to, what number is this? Like 230 or 240 or something. And they're happily married because I met their husbands. Their husbands are really nice. I don't know how the hell they put up with this stuff. But at least here we're in North Carolina. How long a trip was this? Pretty short, right? Well, that's a long time, 2.5 hours. That's like short compared to Texas, California. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. It's always nice to see them. They're always so brightly dressed. They got plenty of cash, you know. They're so brightly and beautifully dressed all the time and coiffed. They're beautifully coiffed. Thank you very much. Great honor. Thank you. And we have our front row jacks. We have our front row Jacks and Joes. Thank you very much. What happened? You're not in the front row. Whoa. These must be very powerful people in the front. Look at these people. Who are these people? They kept the wall back there. Wow. We got to figure this out. That young man must be a very powerful guy. But we appreciate it. We've had a lot of rallies, and we're going to have our biggest of all at Madison Square Garden. We're going to make a play for New York. Hasn't been one in many, many decades, but with what's going on in New York between the illegal migrants and the crime they're causing and hurting people so badly and all of the problems in New York, we're going to give it a hell of a shot. So we took Madison Square Garden. We filled it up. Think of this, sold out in 3 hours. Done. Can you imagine? If a normal politician, and I don't say this in any way, I just say if a politician, like take our best politician, after me, take our best politician. If you had 250, 300 people, that would, you'd have 300 people in a ballroom or something. Ronald Reagan would have 350 people, 400 people. We sell out these things, 25,000 people at Madison Square Garden because we use the floor, right? The basketball. So we have the whole thing, holds 18 or 19,000. We have the floor. And it's sold out in 3 hours, so that's a great honor. But we're going to do a big one in the Atlanta arena. We're trying to sign the Philadelphia arena. We had tremendous success in Long Island, where the ice hockey team plays, the Islanders, and we could have sold that thing out 4 times. It was incredible. So we're doing them, and we're sort of, it's sad because we're sort of wrapping it up. You know that, right? We've been doing this now for a long time. We had 2 unbelievable elections. We had 2. But we are. I didn't even think of it. I was being interviewed by a very good person today, actually, and that person said, when you did Madison Square Garden, it's in a week, they said, is that sort of wrapping it all up, right? And I said, I never thought of it that way, but I guess you could. It's sort of wrap it. We have a few days left after that, but we sort of are. When you think we've been doing it from 2015, and now we're where we are. So we're, talking about 9 years, almost 10 years by the time we do it. And there's something, and think of what we've done. This is the greatest movement in political history. I mean, there's never been anything like that. Right? The greatest movement in political history. And I know, oh, look, there's Uncle Sam back there. Look at that guy. He shook my hand. This guy's got the hardest handshake. My hand is still recovering from his handshake. Uncle Sam, how are you? And I have no idea who he is, I promise you. Somebody says, oh, do you pay these people? I don't pay them. I don't pay the wall. I don't pay Uncle Sam. But they're incredible patriots. And you know what? They're very smart people. They're incredible people. But this is like a football game to some. You know, they come in, these guys, they're accountants. They head accounting firms, law firms, and they got the name of some football player in the back. I don't know if I could do that. Well, maybe Lawrence Taylor. He's my friend. I'll come in with a Lawrence Taylor. These are all guys. We have a lot of endorsements from athletes, that I can tell you. But thank you, Uncle Sam. But you know, it's sort of interesting. I never thought of it. It's sort of we're wrapping it up. We're wrapping up something that has been incredible. There's never been anything like this. The rallies, the size of them, the enthusiasm, and we have more enthusiasm now than we did for 2016 or 2020. But we really started in 2015. You know, about a year before, a little less than a year before. We started in 2015, and it's been really amazing. It's been great. It's been great to be with you. And now we want to close it out with a beautiful bang, and we want to straighten out the country. And we're going to thank you, darling. I pray for you too. Thank you. Yeah. But it's been like a movement of love, you know, and it's like, you know, when we first started, there used to be like some fights, and there were problems where you have fight, not much, but we had some. It's been, and I don't want to jinx it by saying, but it's been like love. It's been like amazing. It is. And you know what? The people back there, when I say things, if I'm a little bit off, they'll go headlines. And I don't mean to be a little bit off, but this is the single greatest political movement in the history of our country. There's never been anything like that. And if it wasn't, if it were just slightly behind some other movement that nobody could even come close to talking about, they would have headlines. I have to be very careful when I say things. But he said that, and he said, is this wrapping it up? And I never thought of it. I didn't think of it that way. We're in the heart of battle, and we have to win our country. And then we're going to have 4 great years, and that's a different kind of a battle. But for what we're doing, for the campaigning, this will be, we're pretty much, we're 14 days from sort of wrapping it up. And we're going to have different kinds of get-togethers, and hopefully it's going to be get-togethers of success. We're going to base it on success. We're going to have great success with this country. We're going to bring back our businesses. We're going to stop crime in the streets. We're going to close up our borders. We're going to let people come in to our country. We need people to take all these jobs we're going to be creating a lot of jobs just by the very smart use of tariffs, taxes, and incentives. Just like I told you, just come up with one. And literally, I did it with a friend of mine who's a great business person. I said, what do you think of the idea of the deduction for a car, interest deduction for a car? But then I said, but to get it, you have to build the car in the United States. Who would think of that? You know, it sounds simple, like the paperclip. It's very simple. Somebody came up 129 years ago or something. They came up with the paperclip. Then other people looked at it and they said, how the hell why didn't I think of this idea? And now you'll have everybody come out and say, we're going to deduct interest. But you know what? It doesn't have the same ring. No, that's a big deal. We're going to make so many cars in Detroit with that. That's going to be so big. But I said, wait a minute, if I do this, what are we going to do? Make more cars in China? You know, China, I put a tariff on China. He's got 27.5%. And because of that, they're not flooding our country. They're destroying Europe. They're just flooding Europe with cars. But we've kept our car companies, but it's a fraction of what it used to be. We had the glory days. We were making everybody's cars. The Cadillac was the most beautiful. My father to my father having a Cadillac. He'd get a Cadillac every 2 years. That was his definition of luxury. I just want a Cadillac every 2 years. That was, and today, you know, they don't talk so much about that. We're going to take care of our military better. We're going to take care of our military better than anybody. You know, with our military, we took care of our veterans better than anybody has ever taken care. We took care of our veterans. We got a 92% approval rating, and now it's back down to 44 or 43. We did choice. We had choice. So if a person had to wait, one of our great, because I call them heroes, one of our great heroes had to wait for a doctor. They could go out. If they had to wait more than 1 day, they go out and they get a doctor, we pay the bill. And in the end, it was not only was it good for them, it was also even efficient, because some of these people were dying. They'd wait for 4, 5, 6, 7 months. And we have great doctors in the VA, but the problem was the administration. And our guys did a fantastic job. We did another thing in the VA. We got rid of all the sadists and the sickos or wackos. You couldn't find because of civil service laws. And I got this all passed. We got this all passed in Congress. It was an amazing thing to get it passed in Congress. They were trying for 58 years for one and for 54 years for the other. And it worked out great. And now I understand that as of like yesterday, they're trying to get rid of, they call it choice. We have a choice of going outside, getting a doctor. And I understand that they're trying to end that program. They don't like that program. Don't like it, so they'll go back to waiting, but we'll get it back. We'll get it back so fast your head will spin. They want to end it. They don't like it for some reason. I don't know why, but they don't like it. People were getting instant care, and it wasn't very expensive when you take into the fact that, and just take a look at this. You have a guy, he gets sicker, then he becomes terminally ill, and they have to take care. In the end, I think it's probably cost effective, but I don't even care about the cost in that case. We take care of our people. Who would want to wait months to get, in some cases, a simple pill or a simple shot? And it was a terrible thing, but we had a 92% approval rating, the highest ever. The people that I had there did a fantastic job. We're going to bring it all back. We're going to bring it back fast. And one other thing, I mean, isn't it nice to have a president that doesn't have to read these stupid teleprompters, isn't it? Sort of interesting. I haven't looked at him in the last 15 minutes. You know, it's like interesting, but it's, I just do what we have to do. But you know, we did another program, Right to Try. It's the greatest thing. For 51 years, they've been trying to get it because we have the best doctors, the best lab technicians, the best labs, the best everything. And nobody could get it done. We would have something that really looked good for a certain disease or problem. It really looked good, but they couldn't do anything because the FDA wouldn't be able to approve it for years. I got that number way down, by the way, but they wouldn't be able to approve it for years. And what would happen was terrible. They would go to Asia, they'd go to Europe, they'd go all over, if they had money. Most of them didn't have money. They'd go home and they'd die. So I said, we got to do something about this. And they've been trying for 50 years. They couldn't get it done because the doctors didn't want it because of the liability. The insurance companies certainly didn't want it. The labs didn't want it. Nobody wanted it, but everybody, they knew it was good, but they didn't want it. I got everybody into a room and I said, listen, we're going to sign an agreement. There's not going to be any liability to anybody. If somebody's terminally ill, they're going to sign a document that they're not going to sue the insurance company, they're not their family. They're not going to sue anybody. They're not going to sue the doctor, the lab. They're not going to sue anybody. Everything's going to be fine, and we're going to try it and see how it works. It's been so successful. We have saved thousands and thousands of lives with this new medicine. It's a new age. I call it new age medicine, but we've saved thousands of people. People don't write about it. It's called Right to Try. A lot of people know. I hope nobody needs it, to be honest with you. But you know, it's been so, I've never read anything about it. They don't want to write about it. And if they